Alright, welcome back everyone to A Programmer Plays Molly Medusa. This is our sixth and potentially final episode. In our previous one, we beat up a couple of frogs, which did not go as well as I would have thought it would, but you know, we figured it out, by which I mean I looked up how other people did it because the answer was not coming to me. And then once we had done that, okay, cool. We can replicate it ourselves and move on to this Circe's Temple. Presumably the final dungeon, given that the antagonist, sorta? Antagonist question mark. Is the one just like sitting in the foyer, which is fun. I enjoy that. Is this where I want to be? Yes, it is. As you can see, we are running perilously low on health, but not that big a deal if we die. Alright, so now we're on the other side of this. We could have gotten the round key from the fighter here. Are you real? You look real. Heart piece. Do we... Oh, that is a nice... Interesting. It healed up to a line, which I assume is what it's supposed to do. I also paused right at the moment that it got to where it is, so I might have interrupted the heal, but I don't think so. I think it just heals to the line. That is enough for us to do that. And, alright, so here's an interesting UI thing. I'm fairly sure that we are done with the round hearts now, and that there's going to be the one completing this, the one completing this, and probably... Well, it's possible that there's another, not just another 2, but another 4 heart pieces out there in order to get us to the full 2 lines. We'll find out. Maybe. We might not find out. That would be kind of funny if we didn't. I really wish I could drop right here. I'm standing too close and, like, running around trying to, like... position better is too much of a pain in the ass in this game, so not gonna do it. Do I think that I need to light these torches? I can't drop right here. I do need to light those torches. Did that do anything productive? I don't think so. I'm really struggling to make the camera cooperate with me here. There we go. That's what we want. There we go. And I wonder if the Toad boss was originally supposed to be a hand boss, given the imagery that we keep seeing. Because, like, we had the bull, okay, sure. We had the death skull, sure, that kind of was what that boss looked like. The owl, not so much. Oh, well, that feels like some shenanigans. I don't know. It feels like... It feels very plausible that the game originally had some stronger theming that then just like, you know, didn't make the final cut. I can pretty easily imagine an owl boss being an absolute nightmare to try and code. Hey, nice. Did exactly what we expected. Now... I maintain that the success boing in this game feels completely out of place. Does not feel right at all. What do you say? Warning, point of no return. Do not proceed if there are still things you want to accomplish in the Sands of Solitude. Ooh. Well, I'm glad that we read that. Were there things that we wanted to accomplish in the Sands of Solitude? You know what? Yeah, let's do a little... Man, the camera needs a little bit of smoothing. I'm just now noticing this cat. Sands of Solitude, definitely some stuff going on that I would like to revisit. So, alright. Feeling good about that area, and that area. Pretty sure we did that. I think that one. So, I think C2 might have some stuff that we haven't done. I've been thinking a lot ever since last episode about the differences between the Sands of Solitude here and the Great Sea and Wind Waker. In addition to the whole, there's not enemies, there's not randomly giant squids attacking you. Something that's easy to overlook with Wind Waker's ocean is that you don't actually get full access to it immediately, right? Like, it's easy to remember, like, oh yeah, Wind Waker, you know, big ocean, so much freedom to go around and do stuff. But in truth, you don't actually, right? Like, you first get taken to another island. So you're riding on someone else's ship. Spoilers for Wind Waker, I guess. You're riding on Tetra's ship to the fortress. And then you get your own ship, but you can only go in one direction. Like, the wind is just sending you eastward. Ooh, I am missing horribly. So, like, you have to go to Dragon Roost. And then you get the Wind Waker and can change the wind, but he still actually won't let you out of... he still won't actually let you out of the fairly narrow corridor that you're supposed to be in. So even with the ability to change the direction of the wind, you're trapped in. So, like, there's more of a gradient to the Great Sea than I think a lot of people realize. This game, you know, we get the boat, we leave the tiny little alcove where we found the boat, and then we're in it. Like, we have full access to the ocean, and as we saw in this playthrough, there was actually a degree of I did some stuff out of order. Okay. This is the one that we actually wanted to do. Our ammo might become a problem. Hopefully this is the spot where they give me like 99 shots. Oh, well, we're back up to 15. Fun that there's arrows in the door. Found the crystal pouch. Now carry up to 50. Oh my goodness. 15 to 50 is a hell of a like rapid jump. I kind of don't understand. Like, we've got this whole, you know, like, great big area. It would not have been that hard to add another row and another column. Like, I guess it would have been hard because that would have been freaking 9 more islands to make. But we could have spread out a lot more. And honestly, you could have gotten away with just add 1 more column. So that'd be 4 more islands. Just to spread out some of these upgrades a little bit more. You know, we have more like minor upgrades. You know, instead of 15 straight to 50, you could have 15 to 30 to 60. Man, this one's also just kind of like straight into it, isn't it? All right, so we've got candles. There we go. We're not missing on heart pieces. Ta-da! So I feel pretty good about the amount of health collectibles in this game. But I don't know, like for the ammo limited stuff, it feels like we could have used a lot more ammo. And I think we also could have used potentially some like I think the bomb, I kind of do this all the time, but I'm like, the bombs could have had like a bigger explosion upgrade, and that would have been great. Never got it, which is fine, but it would have been great. Could have been great. All right, so with that acquired, was there anything in this bottom island that I don't remember. Like, part of the charm of Wind Waker's ocean was just how freaking big it was, right? And it did, you know, not to wear too much of a rose-tinted glasses, like, some of the islands did get pretty samey, right? You know, the fairy islands, and you're like, okay, it's a fairy island. But there was still a lot of islands and a lot of variety of the islands, and it had this big sense of like, oh, anything can happen. That's not really the vibe we're getting here. Like, don't get me wrong, this is still an impressive amount of content, but like, it doesn't have the holy impression that Wind Waker gave. And part of that is because we're not running into anybody, right? Like, there's no NPCs that we can talk to by design. I think we got everything in this, but I'm going to double check because I just don't remember. Yeah, this was not a combat room. Okay, yeah. That's one of the things that Wind Waker had is a pretty significant advantage, right? Like, Wind Waker could do combat rooms and stuff. This game, what little combat there is mostly like run up to enemy, hold a bomb until it's obliterated. Or the bosses, which, not gonna lie, so far we're 0 out of 4 on bosses that I've liked. Okay, here we go. Right, this one was borderline empty. Yeah, that's fine. That's funny. We're gonna do one last thing before we call it here, I think. I'm gonna go back to our home village and just do a quick little look-see around. Something that's not helping this game's desert, at least for me, huh. That always there? Is that I'm comparing it against Metroid Prime 4's. That doesn't seem like that's supposed to happen. Metroid Prime 4's desert is also kind of a big, like, hey, here's a thing that's just taking up space. Alright, we got that. A little chest over here. I don't think I ever talked to you, which is unfortunate because now I can't. But at least in Metroid Prime 4, we had, you know, the option of like smashing into crystals, and you know there'd be enemies that we were shooting from a distance, and it wasn't just drive in a straight line. So, do I think that this game would benefit from crystals that we could smash in the desert? Yeah, maybe. I don't think that would be like a fix for the desert being kind of eh. Because, I mean, there's Metroid Prime 4 got a lot of heat for its desert section. But, you know, maybe. double checking to see if I've overlooked anything particularly obvious. Not really. Oh, that's fun. I'm struggling to look at this because of how the camera is. These trees are fully 3D, and they've got these bands, right? But these trees are not. They're actually 2D. Huh. That's actually quite well done with the way that they're painted. Alright. Well... Ah, these enemies respawn. I didn't think that they would. For some reason, I thought that, enemies that had been killed, via stone and bomb stayed killed. I was wrong. It really is actually quite remarkable that he's gotten away with these 2D trees. In 2024, I think, is when this game came out. Like, that's quite late for a video game to be getting away with that trick. I'll check one last room. I think we're good. I think we found everything I'm going to find. Yeah. Fun that we can see the first dungeon in the distance here. That's a nice little detail. That's I think the frustrating thing about this game is that there's a lot of rough edges, but also at the same time there's a lot that actually is well done and good. So, with regards to the way the Wind Waker sort of like funnels you along a single path, I think this game could have done something similar where we start out in like a canyon with sand at the bottom, and sort of like funnels you to the first dungeon and then opens up. I don't think anyone would have blinked at, okay, I need to get a boat in order to get to the first dungeon, and then, oh wow, look at how much the world opened up. I think there could have been, you know, a little shifting there. We did also just basically get the boat for free. Like, we just stole it from the guy, and then he vanished. And there was no, like, build up or like, ooh, we can see the boat, like, we're gonna grab that. We just had it immediately. Just like, whoop. So that almost to me feels like maybe cut content, like maybe they were planning to have a little more build up to getting the boat and then just, you know, didn't have time. Which happens. Like, video games are full of, hey, we want to do this, but there's just not time. We have to release this game or the studio will go under. That happens. I get it. But it's still kind of a bummer when you see stuff that you're like, that was probably cut, and if it hadn't been, the pacing of this would have actually been a good bit better. Because having, like, Wind Waker ease you into, like, you've got a boat, and you can change the wind, and now the whole ocean is opened up to you. You get that sort of, like, progression, that unfolding, and this one is kind of, you get the whole thing, but then there's not much to it. Because Wind Waker was able to ease us in with, like, oh, you know, this is how you move around. Ooh, there's some rupees on the ground. Pick them up, or on the surface of the water. Ooh, there's a guy. Let's go talk to him. And this one, like, there's no rupees to pick up. There's no other ships to go talk to. There's no fish to purchase maps from. And a lot of that is kind of the structure of the game, but Alright, well, that's enough faffing around. Hey, Cersei. It is slightly strange, right? How this game's got, like, a sexy angle to it. Like, a lot of the statues are kind of sexy, and Cersei's definitely designed to be sexy. I don't know. Alright, point of no return. We're in it now. I don't know if it's actually a point of no return. I'm going to assume that it is until proven otherwise. Okay. See, like this, right? Like, that's a statue with some hips. Can I interact with this? Yes. Is that a game over screen? I like that walk animation, right? It's interesting that she's hollow from one side. Oh my goodness. This is fun. Alright, so I've enjoyed that we've had a useless item this entire time. I had kind of had some thoughts. Alright, stop rolling, please. Alright, we're gonna just keep rolling while I talk. I had some thoughts before that I kind of wish that we could use... Oh, this is very Yono. It would have been nice if we could have used Mr. Rockface to have Molly think through problems a little bit. No! Like, if we needed a hint, have Molly just, like, talk the problem out to herself, to Mr. Rockface. That would have been a fun way of giving us some, you know, hinting system. Oof, it's actually harder to control than I expected. What am I even doing, actually? Oh, okay.
Mr. Rockface! Did you save me? You really are a great friend.
Still weird to me the way that her eyes, the pupils are concave and not convex. So I guess the question now is... Nope. Does nothing. But does that idea make sense of she pulls him out and just talks to him? Ooh, hello. Alright, we still can't get close to you without turning you to stone. Which is a bummer. Because your design is interesting. Alright, so this game's very clear about its Wind Waker influences, right? But this is the Temple of Time right here. Even with the light. This is our final item. Found the safety goggles, assigning them to extra Y. Wearing these will cancel your petrifying gaze. Has it been our gaze that's been petrifying stuff? That doesn't really make sense because it happens in every direction. I wish that this was like not goggles, but like a little blindfold that applies to all of our snakes.
Molly, you're here too? Weird place, huh? I found it some time ago, but I don't know what it is. So, I don't know how to say this, but I think this door is for you. Know what I mean?
Yes, I do, in fact.
I can open it for you, but you have to go through it alone. You know I got your back, Molly. I always do. But I can see that you are ready for this. Good luck.
Alright. We did, like, miss a thing, so I'm gonna go back and find out what that thing is, because it's probably, like, a chest, right? Like a piece of heart. It's fascinating that this is an item. Okay, so... Oh, duh. Like, it being an item essentially, like, forces us to give up one of our two, very limited, items. I'm curious what the final boss will be. For bombs. Come on. Alright, whatever. Also, interesting that there was the point of no return. I'm a little tempted to try and backtrack. I imagine that it is a true point of no return. Because if it wasn't a true point of no return, then these goggles would potentially be like a really big deal. Because we could go back and talk to the people in our village. Yeah, it's a true point of no return. All right, fair enough. Alright, in we go. No.
Molinike. Little Molly. You are here at last.
You.
You've grown much. When last we met, you were but a silly child.
I am not a child.
Prove it for me then, little Molly.
show me how much you have grown.
Did she open a door on her side? Whoa, cool. Many-faced circuit. Alright. Oh. Alright. Alright, I can't actually hit the pause menu while she's got me on that, so... Alright. We've depleted her health bar. Whoa, what the fuck? Okay. Alright. What is up with this laughter that she's doing? Alright, so now... Was that it? Did we actually beat a boss for once?
I bested you, villain.
With Go figure that the last boss is the best boss in the game, but it isn't actually hard.
Now you must lift this curse you put on me. Villain? Curse? Oh, my dear. You do not understand, do you? Understand what? Tell me what it is I don't understand. Listen well, Malinike.
Alright, hold on. Justitia, Prudentia, Fortitudo, and Temperamentia. Justice, Prudence, Fortitude, and Temperance?
Labyrinth, library, tomb, and palace. In the labyrinth, you let go of your attachment to the physical realm, and with it, your limited individual perspective. This virtue is called justice. In the library, you conquered your ignorance. This virtue is called wisdom. In the tomb, you transcended your fear of death. This virtue
is called courage. In the palace, you overcame your own greed and selfishness. This virtue is called moderation. You are now a complete person, Molinike, at last prepared to chase your great ambition. This is the gift I have given you.
Gift? But what about these snakes? You cut me off from my friends and family. You forced me out into the sands of solitude. You have dragged me through all this pain and trouble, these trials and tribulations, this loneliness.
This loneliness is probably the biggest problem in this game. But, I mean, it's not. The camera is the biggest problem in this game. And then the slightly wonky hit detection. But, like, from a writing perspective, this is the problem. Because we go from she's got friends, but she's kind of annoyed about her life and everything, to I am so cripplingly alone that I started talking to the first rock I found that was just literally on a pedestal right outside my hometown. Like, we went from 0 to 60 so hard. And again, I think that if the game had like a connective tissue area between our village and the sea, where like we were like, oh, we gotta like get the boat and all this stuff. If there had been some scenes in that, Molly talking to herself and realizing like, holy, I'm actually not prepared to go out here by myself, I think that would have smoothed out the writing of the game a lot and like let that sort of solitude sort of sink in. But there's just not, dialogue for it. There's not scenes for it.
Surely there must have been an easier way.
Oh, little Molly, daughter of a vase painter, the vase, fashioned from soft clay, does not know why it is subjected to the fire in the kiln. It cries out in anguish even as it is hardened by the flames. Why must you torture me? It demands of the potter, and the potter simply replies, I am not hurting you. I am making you excellent.
Alright, back to our little village. I like that Rockface is down on the bridge with our little brother. The end. Molly Medusa, Queen of Spit. I still don't know where the spit factors in. I kind of feel like it is a mistranslation. Or it should have been spite? Spite would have made more sense? I don't get the Queen of Spit. So, yeah, Nicholas Holland, like, I liked Yono a lot better. I'm sorry. I did. There's so much about this game that works, and then the parts that don't work undermine it so hard. The voice acting was really good, I thought. I really enjoyed Moe Rock's depiction of Molly. I liked the music from Burning Planet, but it felt out of place. We talked a bit about how like it just kind of like emotionally jarring to just go from, all right, I'm walking out the door, bam, rock music. We stopped. Like it would. Rock music like this can work in an ancient Greek setting. We saw that with Hades, but Hades earned it by having other variants of the same themes, the same motifs, in like more subdued context while you're doing menu stuff and talking to characters, and in other conditions, there's more, gradation there and less like wham, bam. It's really interesting that Game Maker's Toolkit is listed here, top, front, and center. I like Game Maker's Toolkit. I enjoy his videos. Shout out to the Yono and Celestial Elephants speedrunners. Interesting. That's fun that they did that. Oops. The biggest problem in this game was the whole, like, running on the walls, running on the ceilings thing while fighting with the camera. It needed more smoothing out. The camera needed to be a bit better at positioning itself, which is a really hard ask. Like, that's very hard to program a camera to know how to, like, orient itself properly in all three dimensions. A lot of it really ends up not being programming as it ends up being just fine-tuning everything in the world around that camera, where you smooth out the edges of surfaces so that you're not like having so many right angles where you're jumping from a wall straight to a ceiling. You've got curves so that you smoothly transition from one to the other. You have columns that the camera knows, oh, I can look through this, and there's like shaders in place to let things be transparent so that you can see what you're doing. We saw a little bit of that problem where like when we would aim with the crystal glove thing, the dang hand would be in the way. You couldn't actually see what you were doing. So that was a problem. And there's a lot of little problems like that where systems just didn't quite technically fit together, or needed just a lot more investment to work. I got really frustrated with how you had items that you could throw, pots, bombs, etc., but like you needed to be running in order to do that, and that was kind of like flaky because the camera would like shift on you a little bit as you would run forward, and so your aim would be off. That was quite frustrating. On a similar note, like you'd want to put things down, but if you were too close to something, it wouldn't let you, even though it's already pushed you back when you grabbed the item, when you pulled it out of your pocket or whatever with the bombs. You should be able to put it down, but it just wouldn't let you. Or if you were standing on top of a grate. I get why it's not letting you put stuff down on the grate, but it just felt like I was frequently like, I have a solution to this problem, and I can't use it because you just won't. The button just doesn't do anything, and it wasn't like the button grayed out. And that sort of gets into one of our early problems where I didn't realize what I needed to do because there wasn't a button prompt. I know that my camera is kind of covering up where the button prompt usually would go. That's slightly too intense. Alright, so I guess if we select our save file, we just go straight into the credits. I don't like that at all. Let me go straight back to the final boss or something. Game. Stuff like this just annoys me so much, because this is just kind of a bad decision. Alright, I guess we'll just hang out on this screen, even though this is much too intense. Hopefully that's a reasonable volume level. It's difficult for me to think with this playing. The art in this game was great. Like, very much enjoyed the Wind Waker aesthetic. He pulled a lot of tricks that I very much admired, like the making the trees 2D. I actually enjoy stuff like that. I thought it was cool. The game looks really good. There's a few oddities with like her irises being inside out. That felt a little weird to me. Just artistic decision, I guess. Whatever, it's fine. I didn't love the art direction on the maps. The whole like have a room with a line connecting to the next one. I get why that's the case, because it would be difficult to make all the pieces fit together in actuality on the map, but it did just kind of make the maps feel kind of meh. I wish there had been more like side questy stuff. And again, like the narrative kind of goes against that, where the point is that she feels very alone. And so side quests kind of go against that. So I get why they're not there, but it did feel like you had this big empty desert, emphasis on empty. We did get kind of plagued by a lot of bugs on this playthrough. Molly's hair vanishing after she died. A lot of Molly herself, like the entire character model vanishing after we like would use our hookshot and stuff. We had a few, pretty nasty little glitches. There's a lot of minor technical problems with like physics collision stuff. It happens. This game's more stable than a lot of indie games, but it's still, the problems that we hit were pretty like glaring. And there's the big technical problem that I have, which is that this game doesn't have graphical options. Like in order for me to play this properly, I had to manually, using keyboard combination, move which window the screen's rendering on, because the game doesn't give me options about resolution, full screen, any of that, which is, that's a deal breaker for a lot of people. There's a lot of people who won't play full screen. They, their setup is such that they need to be playing, windowed borderless and stuff like that. So I don't understand why that's not a thing. Those are easy things to implement in basically every game engine. I guess he just didn't want to have the menus for it. I don't know. He did have an option for turning ourselves invincible, though it was phrased in kind of a weird way, where we were turning on the ability to not take damage. I'm glad that option was there. I'm really glad that option was there. And I'm really glad that it was something that we could turn on and then turn back off. But I would have been much happier if the damage that was happening was more was made more sense. Like, it didn't really make sense the way that we were getting, hearts individually, one more heart, but then like even a small trap would do like 3.5 hearts of damage. And the way that the damage would work, like, it was pretty easy to walk onto some spikes and those spikes would hit you twice in like a second, and so you're dead, and you're like, well, this feels lame. Similarly, like, the bosses were hitting for like 10 damage, and you're like, what the hell, man? I can only take 2 mistakes here, and then I'm done. That feels real bad. So all but the final boss, I had to turn off taking damage, and it made the game feel a lot worse that I was doing that. I'm glad that the option was there, but it felt bad. Speaking of stepping on traps, Molly has like a weirdly wide turn radius. Molly cannot turn. Molly has to turn like a freaking boat. And that felt really bad. It made positioning, especially with like the mirror shield, it made that unreasonably difficult. I don't know what's up with that. It really annoyed me. So yeah, like, overall, like, there's the bones of a good game here, and like, honestly, most of the meat of a good game. Like there's nothing wrong with most of those dungeons. They do the job. There's treasure, there's keys, there's puzzles. Um, it's just like the connective tissue kind of didn't work, or like there was choices in there that were so like clunky and weird that it undid the good stuff in the game. I feel like you could make a version of this game that is not got the ceiling and wall walking mechanics, like just flatten it out to be a normal 2D like Zelda experience. 2D, 3D, but like take away the wall walking mechanic, and I think that this would actually be a much more popular game, and I think it would just play a lot better. Now, of course, people would be like, this is much less interesting. That is one of the most like sellable things of the game, but like if it makes people motion sickness, if it gives people motion sickness, if people get too confused to continue playing, all of that, if it's inconsistent, if it's ruining the game for people, maybe it shouldn't be there. So, I don't know. I also just don't understand really where it was coming from. Like, why is turning people to stone give you the ability to defy gravity? That feels like very disconnected things. I don't know. Big picture, there was a lot that I liked in this game, but boy, I got irritated with it at the same time. I don't think I'm going to fondly recommend this game to anyone. In fact, I'm sure that I'm not going to recommend this game to other people. I'm hoping that Nicholas Hallen's next game that I play will be better. I actually do think I already own it. Alruna, I believe is the name. So who knows? Maybe I'll be loading that up in the near-ish future and playing it. I have an enormous backlog, but I do like to like go through games of a particular creator or studio where I can, because it's interesting seeing them get better at their craft and make better titles as they go along. So this game, kind of a bummer, but it tried stuff. It was interesting, and at the end of the day, I think that's all a lot of us can really ask from indie games. So I'm gonna end it here. YouTube, thank you guys very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next series, whatever it may be. Until then, bye.